The success of Mechagodzilla, both in presentation and performance, sent shockwaves throughout Earth, and it also showcased that humanity has evolved to overcome impossible odds in the face of danger. Even those above the planet, the Niborians, are taking note of it. 11:42 a.m. Within the capital of New Niboria, Emperor Rim Dempsey steps out onto the balcony. His eyes are glued to the planet that his mobile home is floating above. The site of Japan is visible, with less clouds covering it. It is nice to see human ingenuity at its full display, even if they started copying us. But who am I to judge? A male walks into the room. He stops behind him by the doorway. "My lord, another batch of our people have returned." Good. They will be treated well. But we have a problem. Some of them are already corrupt. Rim turns around, looking at him dead in the eyes. "Show me." Minutes later, large doors opens. The Emperor and his advisor walks through. What stands before them is the castle's dungeon system. Every cell they pass is filled with criminals, guilty of crimes ranging from heresy to attempted assassination. The screams that they hear is from prisoners who are tortured by guards, either ordered or on their own volition. One reaches out to grab the leader of the Niborians. Rim grabs his arm and yanks it down, causing him to pull his arms back from the guard railing without pausing in place. How did they become corrupt? The knights said they listened to certain propaganda, such as, "Machines can help you. Humanity has turned your back against you. Join our cause to liberate the masses." Where is all of this coming from? I can only assume Robotnik, my lord. Another pair of doors opens. They enter through and they shut behind them. Their eyes looks ahead. A pair of Niborian knights, Maldansky and Gulazul, stand behind a pair of Niborians, tied up on their knees and beaten within an inch of their lives with bruises all over their bodies. "Your Highness!" Both knights places their hands on their chests. Rim and Gumar stop in front of them. "What is this I hear about corruption in their minds?" "My lord, these heretics speak of new ideals that goes against our beliefs. Not only that, but they are performing sabotage in human facilities like monster outposts and helping two countries and assassinating our advisors." I see. Dempsey turns his attention to one of them. "You, what was the reason behind your actions?"
As if I would listen to a false prophet like you, who only speak lies.
A fist bashes him on the left cheek.
"Watch your tongue, heretic!"
His mind is already gone. Who is it that speaks to you?
We listen to the words of Chairman Robotnik. Only he speaks the truth of what you have done to our people. You give them a false hope in a universe filled with the ill-minded.
Is that the mentality of Robotnik? Surely the words that he says are not true.
Fool, you truly believe in your own ways. In due time, the chairman will have his revenge against those who wronged him.
Rim is unfazed. His suspicion reaches its peak. I believe I have heard enough. He turns around and walks away from them. Kill them.
What?
We must not let these disgusting ideals spread to the people. The guards pulls out their Mark I ray guns and aims at the back of the heretics' heads.
Dempsey, you coward! You have become a mere puppet to the humans!
The plasma bullet penetrates through his skull, cutting his sentence off completely. Kudel meets the same fate. Svaka follows the Emperor as the prisoners are executed. What will we do now? Increase production and conscription. It is clear now of what we are facing. 6:42 p.m. The Emperor broadcasts his address to the people of New Niboria. My great, loyal subjects, I speak to you with an important matter to discuss. In the past few months, we have been enjoying our coexistence with the humans on Earth. Said humans have treated us with gratitude and politeness we have not seen in many centuries. We have been cooperating with the humans in retrieving our lost soldiers who were left behind 3 years ago. But recently, it has become abundantly clear that some of their minds are not what they used to be. Their minds have been brainwashed by false truths and promises. We have confirmation on who is the culprit, and I am afraid that it has come to this. We cannot ignore this situation any longer. I am requesting Prime Minister Fugo and the Parliament to increase conscription and production. Our fleet must be numerous, and our soldiers and knights must be trained at a higher level than before. Our goal as Niborians, in the name of Lord Zavna, is to ensure the safety and assurance of our empire. Any threat, internal or external, will be considered a threat and will be studied and eliminated. I plead to Parliament that action will be taken. Thank you. Throughout the districts, including the capital, the Niborian people are shocked. Some cannot believe that the Emperor is approaching a situation like this and demands that he reverse his decision. But most understand and are not oblivious to what is going on. Starting on January 14th, the factories are in full production. New classes of carriers and battle cruisers, as well as smaller frigates, have begun their assembly. The Niborian Imperial Army, the NIA, have begun the higher levels of training. So too have the Royal Niborian Knights, the RNK, one of which has already started. Within Lizda, a male gets dragged on his feet. He digs his Mark III energy hammer into the dirt, stopping his momentum. Stel Demuni breathes in heavily as he looks ahead. His trainer, Colonel Devuli, cracks his knuckles.
What was that, Demuni? I expected better from you.
It's been a long time since I've had hand-to-hand combat. Vin Chamley, watching from a short distance, shakes her head.
And it shows. Goodness, I'm seeing a lack of focus from you.
What gave it away?
You keep darting your eyes at the planet.
Oh.
Look, Stel, I'm worried about Hez as much as you do, but we cannot dwell on it. For all we know, his mind could be corrupt.
You don't know that.
Maybe he was captured and...
Demuni, there will be no more excuses. I'd expect the former commander of the fleet to have more backbone than this. Useless. Stel stands up straight. He twirls the hammer and slams it on the ground beside him, picking up dirt as he does.
Watch your tongue. You want to see the full might of the Demuni dynasty? Then you will get it!
The two Niborians dashes forward at one another, continuing the training to get ready. Saturday, February 2nd, 12:07 p.m. National Koopa Day, a holiday that celebrates the creation of the Federal Kingdom Kootopia on February 2nd, 1720 by King Henry the Great, is underway. Kootropolis streets are filled with cheering crowds on the sidewalks. Parade float slowly drives down Sherman Square with balloons, performers, dancing. Images of Koopas, Goombas, and Inklings who had influence throughout its history are shown love through their families that live on. Meanwhile, in the now-named Royal Palace, residents of the castle are allowed to celebrate the holiday as offered by the king himself. Robert Bowser I himself watches on from the balcony of his bedroom. His son, Robert II, sits on top of his head, enjoying the view from his father. Their eyes veers downward. A group of Koopa commanders are gathered and a human is standing in front of them with a massive crate beside him. On the ground, a crowbar pries into the crate. The lid pops open. Sergeant Jose Vargas sets it down and sticks his hand into it. He pulls out a factory-new M1928 Thompson submachine gun. He reaches in again, pulling out a 30-round box magazine and a 50-round drum magazine. He turns around, then walks a few steps ahead, facing the commanders. This is an automatic submachine gun. The difference between this and a regular machine gun, besides the design, is the caliber and it's lighter in weight. The Thompson fires a caliber of 9mm, and just now it comes equipped with MPM or armor-piercing rounds, just in case some clankers decides to become Mr. Big Shot. The man laughs at his snarky joke. Anyway, I present to you two options, a box mag and a drum mag. The difference is ammo capacity and performance. For example, he rests the drum mag to the side and loads the box mag into the weapon. He cocks the weapon from the top, turns around, and aims down the sights. His left hand grips the handle and he gets his body ready. A target is in his sights at 55 yards, 50 meters away. Jose pulls the trigger. He fires 3 short controlled bursts every half second. And then the gun clicks. He rests it down and turns back around. With 30 rounds, you can pop off enemies with a few bursts, or you can just mag dump them, i.e. fire off all of the mag's ammo. Speaking of mag dumping, this 50-round mag will do just that. He reloads, putting in the drum mag, then cocks it. Fun fact, in the 1920s, the American Mafia would use this model during Prohibition, often with a drum mag, and if you know American history, it would gain an infamous name. He turns back around, then aims the SMG from the right hip. He grips it tightly with both of his hands. The Chicago typewriter. The trigger is pulled. The Thompson sways from side to side as Jojo holds it down with all of his might. The bullets hits two different targets within a single volley. The rain of fire stops, and the weapon clicks. The Koopas are stunned and amazed. Woo! And that was me firing from the hip! Damn, that felt good! He clears his throat. He sets the weapon down on the table next to him. He reaches behind him, and he pulls his own personal rifle around from his back. Now then, we heard your calls loud and clear. Instead of bolt action, it's semi-automatic, the M1 rifle, or the Garand, named after the Canadian inventor. The greatest battle implement to ever devise, said General Patton. Same caliber as the Springfield, 30-06 with a range of 500 to 1,000 yards. While the Thompson is perfect for short ranges and close quarters, the M1 is the firearm for medium and sometimes long ranges if you're skilled enough. Now, unlike the bolt action, this can self-load all 8 rounds into the chamber without much input by the user. And when all 8 rounds are expended, he quickly aims down range, then fires in quick session. After the 8 rounds is fired, the clip automatically ejects with the distinctive. He rests his rifle on his back and turns back around. The clip automatically ejects. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't the enemy be able to hear us when the clip ejects? No, because here's the thing. The battlefield is loud, so hearing it at all is completely impossible. So, with that demonstration done, my question to you is, what do you think? I think we got ourselves some upgrades. The other officers agrees, praising the new weapons for their armed forces. Jojo's eyes veers upwards. He catches the king and prince watching on from the balcony. With a smirk, Vargas raises his right hand, giving the two a middle finger. Robert I rolls his eyes and waves it off. Man, you're lucky that you're up here. He wouldn't have gotten his butt.
That's enough. Now, I believe it is almost time to teach you how to become a king when my time is up.
But Dad, I want you to be king forever. He grabs his son and holds him up with one hand.
Junior, even I am not eternal. Someday, you will inherit this responsibility. But for now, let us enjoy this moment.
Bowser!
Never mind.
He turns around. Mario and Luigi, full of dirt all over their overalls, are standing near the doorway.
Aren't you two supposed to be plumbing?
We did, but we found something. He reaches behind him and pulls out something. An object that looks like a replica of a Koopa head.
Nice toy.
Hey, let me play with that. That's the thing. It's not a toy. It's one of your people.
What?
It's one of your soldiers that turned into a robot. Robert I's eyes widen. His anger quickly reaches a boiling point.
What is the meaning of this?
Trust me, we don't have the power to turn anything into metal, but... He growls. His mind drifts back to 8 years prior. A human did have that kind of power to do so. He roars. The sound of his fury rings out of the castle onto the outside. Oh, jeez. I don't want to hear that.
Bring me the ambassador of Mobius!
Wait, what? 2:14 p.m. The Mobian ambassador, Storm Cruiser, was summoned to the royal palace at the king's request. King Bowser himself, with his son absent from the throne rooms thanks to Chloe Harrington and the Mario brothers, did not spare his anger at the single human. Only Jojo and Kamek were present, along with the royal guards.
Why did one of my soldiers become robotic?
What are you talking about? I haven't done anything to your people! No, but your chairman may have.
How dare you, Deadeye! I will have you!
Kamek shows the proof of what happened to one of the soldiers. The metal is peeled off, revealing the yellow skin and rolled up eye underneath. We know the ability of Ivan Robotnik, turning anything he touches into metal. When did he start doing it to flesh and blood beings? 5 months ago. After he examined Bowser's fight against Kamacuras in Las Vegas, he knew he had to evolve. I don't know how exactly, but he discovered how to make humans and Koopas become roboticized. A shocking revelation that stuns all those in the throne room. Guards, take him away! 2 guards approaches and grabs the man by the arms. Take him to the dungeon for his impudent ignorance. I knew it. You are nothing more than a tyrant with no heart. Mark my words, we will have our revenge! His voice turns robotic. His arms transform, forming into a cannon. He pushes the guards away and aims at Bowser. A bullet pierces his head. Cruze screams, but another .30 caliber bullet pierces through the skull. He falls over onto his back, dying. Jojo's aura disappears, and the man lowers his M1 rifle. The human did his job, finally. The president's not going to like this. Well, that's enough. We will get back to this matter tomorrow. I will not have this ruin a holiday. And I believe it's time to upgrade my security forces. Deadeye! Jojo turns around to face the king. Head north to the Splatlands, and take Kamek with you. Since when am I your errand boy? That is an order, and I'd rather not touch their ink, knowing my own power. Vargas, confused on his words, walks out of the throne room in a scoff, with Kamek following suit on his broomstick. Music blasts. Towers 60 to 80 meters tall are striking and distinct from one another. The language is very different from what they are used to. Jojo is taken aback by the stark contrast between the neon-glowing, towering infrastructure of the Utopian capital and a city that is half the size in terms of height and population. Dios mío, this is amazing!
Yes, it looks good. It would have been better if I had a hand in it.
Oh, like having Bowser's face plastered all over like a true dictator? Gah! They continue onward on the sidewalk. They encounter and pass by some of the inhabitants, Inklings and Octolings, mutated humanoid squids and octopi respectively, with different colors, clothing, hairstyle, and skin color.
These creatures are all registered as Category 1 troopers. Little threat as they are friendly to humans.
Hard to believe these guys are part of a kingdom.
You wouldn't know until someone told you.
Some of the Inklings darts their eyes to the human and Mechagodzilla. They instantly become disgusted and angry. Jojo takes notice. Why are they looking at us like that? I thought they're friendly.
Actually, they're directing it towards me.
Why?
And you?
Oh, the genocide of 91. Shit. Poor bastards.
Indeed, even though I myself despised it. I wasn't powerful enough to stop him, and it's one of the reasons why I sided with Henry and the young Robert.
So they hate you guys the most?
With a passion, but with good reason. You would think that once they've gotten their independence, the hatred would have stopped. But no!
I wouldn't call it that, considering that it's still under Dominion status.
Whatever. Anyway, we're here to find volunteers.
Do you know a place to find them?
Yes, I do. Follow me.
What? To where?
Splat Stadium.
A packed crowd of 90,500 inside of the stadium are screaming, cheering, and booing. Drinks and snacks are flung and spilled onto the floor. Jojo and Kamek enters a skybox. The former walks ahead to a glass window. His eyes veers down to what is below them. Paintball soars through the air before hitting the ground. An orange inkling pops up, then morphs into her humanoid form. Others, 2 males and 1 female, appears next to her. In their hands are splatter shots, carbine rollers, and a splatter scope. The contest resumes, with both sides scattering paint and ink all over the arena floor. What's going on there?
They are in the middle of what they call Splatfest. Right now, you are seeing a 4-on-4 turf war.
So they're just killing each other for the sport?
I wouldn't say kill per se.
Just then, one of the Octolings bursts after getting hit by a roller. Her spirit-like shadow ascends, travels back to the original team's starting point, then reappears in one piece with the weapon in hand. Oh, it's like a respawn point. Interesting.
Yes, and they're keeping this technology to themselves. Stingy big heads.
So, Bowser's plan is to find volunteers from the Splatlands to do some spy work while we at home figure out how we can counteract Robotnik? Kamek nods. Alright, say no more. So, who are we getting?
All of them.
The event concludes just after 8 o'clock p.m. Both teams are summoned to one of the locker rooms of the stadium. The interaction between them and Kamek is...
No way! We are not working with a snapper like you! Listen here, you... You should be grateful that your people were allowed independence in the first place and allowing your kind to be in our ranks. Yeah, only because you guys suck at doing your job.
Toxic. Jojo, standing in a corner, face palms. So much for a peaceful negotiation.
And another thing, what's this about us working for you? You still owe us. What are you talking about? You owe us a lot of debt for helping your stupid butts 2 years ago. You call this independence? This is in name only. Not to mention we still resent you from what Andrew did to us.
To be fair, I didn't agree with it too. I should have done something, but I didn't. And frankly, the Gamerodon should have finished him.
Oh, like you and Robert wouldn't finish the job. You just had to let the Gamerodon and the humans deal with that.
No offense, Mr. Vargas.
None taken.
When it comes to us and the Koopas, we tend to not get along. Jojo lifts his back from the wall, then approaches them. Believe me, I've read about what happened in 1991, not to mention the famine of 92. You guys suffered a lot, but you managed to survive despite that. We can adapt to anything that is thrown at us, which is why we think the people of the Splatlands are perfect. I understand that you guys can't stand each other, but hear me out. And this is very important, so Kamek, I want you to shut up for this one. The Koopas have a new enemy. And it ain't you, I can tell you that. It's Robotnik. Regardless on how you feel, if Bowser falls, then your society will be under a new regime that is far worse than Andrew. And, I have a feeling that you guys still depend on Kootopia for your survival. Do you? The Inklings and Octolings turns away from Deadeye. Yet, the point that he raised is a valid one. I guess we do. Alright, what's the catch? Nothing much. All Bowser wants is your cooperation. Most of the soldiers and sailors in the Army and Navy are too busy rearming, thanks to us Americans. We need a group of people that are specialists in espionage. And according to your documents, you guys helped us when we were taking back San Francisco, right? Yeah, we did. Because we actually like you humans. Listen, we're in the middle of a second Cold War. So like the first, we need a lot of spies, who are nothing but the best and only the best. A great and interesting proposition. All of the humanoid smiles, giving their answer to the mutant. Alright. Next week, you'll be under the guidance of the CIA and MI6. See you then. February 12th, 12:16 p.m. The town of Plymouth, England is deserted of all activity. From the bunkers, the humans can hear, see, and feel the rumblings coming from above. On the grounds of Central Park, a body falls. A Hypergaus flails, screeching in pain. A foot plants onto its back, stopping it in its tracks. Gamera growls. He bends down. He grabs its head and applies pressure. The iron head cracks. The skull ruptures. Suddenly, the head bursts. Blood scatters all over. The turtle arches back up and roars. 400 yards away, Eleanor Harrington thrusts her electro blade into a juvenile Gauss. The creature falls down, and Hellraiser stands over it. That should be the last of them. The blade evaporates, and she brushes her hands. She turns her attention to her surroundings. Countless amounts of bodies are laid out all over town, at least 50 of them, she counted. So that makes it like, what, the 20th time this happened? 21st. And we were just enjoying a nice orchestra. Marie Gunnier, who helped the mutant and the Gamrodon, sheathes her rapier sword and stops beside her.
Mon Dieu, I've never sweated this hard.
You'll get used to it. Thanks for the help, by the way.
Of course, madame, but I may have something that you and your husband would want to know.
She digs into her pocket and pulls out a piece of paper. She shows it right in front of Ellie's face. Eleanor's eyes launch into the paper. Written on it is something that she cannot understand. What is this? Sergei's diary?
Oh, please.
It's written in Mongolian.
What? Gamera, let me up, right now!
Fire circles around the 80-meter monster. It shrinks to human size. Kenjiro Honda, in regular clothing, rushes out of the cone of flames to the two women.
Let me see that!
Marie drops the paper and Honda catches it. He reads what is on it. He grips the paper as his anger rises.
Ballerma.
Who's that? One of my assassins. You saw him 2 years ago, Zeus.
Oh, that was him?
Yes, and I'm not going to bash you for what you did, but it seems that we got some spies operating in Europe. Marie, where did you find us? Paris. Paris, France, 12:34 p.m. On the rooftop, Honda and Garnier watches on. The wind blows on their hair as they stare onto the street below. Where are you, you son of a bitch?
Ooh la la, monsieur. The way you speak like that, gets me going.
Don't you dare.
Ah, so you can speak our language. Why haven't you done that sooner?
I was waiting for you to speak your native language. Plus, I didn't want to leave my wife out of what we're saying.
Well, learning English is not as easy as you think, though learning Japanese is also not easy.
I got a question too. Why didn't you tell me that you're working for Interpol?
I hate having someone getting involved in our business.
You do realize that Mongolia is my business, right?
Fair point. After all, I'm not the one that decided to become like my father, kill the Mongolian king, and have his daughter place a bounty on me.
Do not compare me to him.
Then why do you hate the Mongolian people then? Surely the third Dragonborn would have at least shown some compassion to the people and give his opponents a fair chance to fight, but I'm afraid you're just like...
A hand covers her mouth. Honda has his body turned to her, furious, with his eyes glued to hers.
I told you to not compare me to my father. And let me bury this bull right now.
I don't hate Mongolia, and I don't hate the people. The people of Red Mongolia are just going about their day as any other human being, as they should. The real problem is its government and what the people have to go through on a regular basis. Propaganda, misinformation, assumptions, and rejecting reality for a false reality. We've seen it all before. Do I look like I'm the kind of guy who would go out of his way to kill a percentage of the population? No, because it will be a waste of my mana, a waste of motivation, and a waste of my f***ing time. I don't care if you're a mutant, crusader, esper, or a regular human, I give my opponent the opportunity to fight. If they don't, then they are wasting my time, which pisses me off. Without trying to let herself speak, Marie listens to every word that Dragonborn has to say. And here's another thing. If Ozawa really wanted me dead, she could have ordered her assassins to kill me right now. Do you want to know why she didn't as of late? Because not only does it give me the chance to return to Asia, but it comes with a downside. You'll be seeing a lot of people die because of what we did. In other words, every country in Europe, Asia, and Africa will have an excuse to react. So do me a favor and never mention this ever again. Gunnier puts both of her hands up, accepting his request. Thank you. He releases his hand from her mouth, then puts its focus back down below. No need to tell me twice. Now that we got that out of the way, I would like to offer an invitation. To what? A party? No, an invitation to help my organization. You want me to join Interpol. I never said that. All I ask is your assistance. Well, Eleanor is helping out her friend in MI6, so I don't see why not. Excellent. Hold up. he catches someone. A man in a suit and wearing sunglasses walks out of a shop. He walks up to a gray Ferrari FF and enters the vehicle. Is that the Balama you're looking for? No, it's one of his friends. It's good enough. Shall we? The vehicle drives along the road. The two Mukon runs across the rooftops following it. As it turns a corner, they jump across, but never touching the ground. We're following the suspect. He should be approaching the hotel.
Roger.
Hey, let's not kill him. We need to know everything. That's my job, monsieur. We're not animals. The Ferrari slows down. Then it comes to a stop. Both Honda and Gonier sets down on a rooftop across. They watch as the man walks into the building. Target is entered. Stand by. Within the hotel's lobby, he notices that it is completely empty. What the hell? Why is it so empty? Alright. Execute! Men in suits and body armor pops out from cover, aiming their MP5 SDs at the lone Mongol. Freeze! Oh White mana surrounds his body. A horse materializes and he mounts onto it. It reels on its hind legs. Mist protrudes and smashes onto the Interpol officers. Frost forms on their bodies, becoming stuck in place at a low temperature. Magnai turns the horse to the exit and it gallops forward. They burst through the doors onto the outside. He turns the manifested animal to the right, making his escape. A fist smashes onto his left cheek. In the blink of an eye, he was mounted on his horse, but then he is knocked off. His body smacks the concrete. Honda cancels the conjured horse. His hands, now covered in icy mist, grabs the Mongol's ankles. Frost spreads to them, then digs into the concrete. Liquid metal wraps around Magnite's mouth, then more around his chest and arms. His aura disappears. Marie, sword drawn, walks up beside Dragonborn. Ooh, sorry, but you're not getting away that easily. Normally I just kill you right now, but for once, I'll let the law handle this. On February 20th, Magnai is found guilty on the charges of espionage, sabotage, terrorism, and crimes against peace, with the subtext of releasing or hatching Gauss in Europe. He is sentenced to death, which came 2 weeks later. March 18th, the Empress of Red Mongolia receives a letter to her. Opening it, she stares at the photo of her hunged spy and assassin. She turns the photo over, finding a note on the back from Honda. The next time you do this, we're going to have a problem. Try me. She rips the paper in half. She grabs the phone and dials a number. Give me the Mobian ambassador. March 1st, 2014. Reports comes in to the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, the FVR, that there is a military buildup on the borders of Armenia and Azerbaijan. Reports that are confirmed. Mongolian Red Army divisions are performing exercises with the Red Navy in the Black Sea doing the same. On March 2nd, the Russian government authorized the occupation of the Crimean Peninsula, a move that sparked controversy even to the country's military partner, Ukraine. President Putin stated that unless or until the crisis is over, the peninsula will return to Ukraine. The Ukrainian people are skeptical considering Russia's history, but regardless, they view Red Mongolian ambitions to be worse. On March 3rd, the Secretary General of NATO, Andreas Rasmussen, issued a statement to the UN. The Royal Sovereign has been deliberately ignoring the pleas from us, Russia, and China to stop their espionage and sabotaging activities, as well as their military buildups near Europe, Syria, and Saudi Arabia. Not only has she and her Prime Minister refused to provide an easy solution to the problem, they are working with Mobius on rumored joint operations in case of armed conflict. And we have also been receiving reports of Mongolia working on a mech program. Whether that is true or not, we will have to see in the next coming months. In the United States, the defense readiness is set to DEFCON 3, Roundhouse. April 3rd, 2014, Minato, Tokyo. Emiko Honda walks out of the model agency building. Nakamura and Sagusa exits with her. I'm exhausted. Hey, it's worth it. And you're doing the AMF a great thing by advertising for us. It's either that or lay in bed all day. So, what do you want to do next? You know that movie that you wanted to see? The Snow White murder case? I'm not sure about that one. Suddenly, the young Spectre girl Iris comes out of nowhere and hugs Honda's legs. They look down to her. Oh, Iris! Oh, it's the child. Have you been waiting for us the whole time? Mm-hmm. I was waiting like a good little girl. Oh, why would you do that? Something could have happened to you. But I'm fine. Her joy causes the woman to chuckle a little. It's been 3 years since I've introduced her to Shinobu and Sensei. Sensei is getting along with her, but Shinobu? She's getting used to her. But at least she hasn't done anything to her. Yet. I still find her suspicious. Oh, will you lighten up? I told you she's not that bad. Huh? What's wrong, Iris? Raygon is here. Who? A roar ruptures their and everyone else's ears in a 10-mile radius, causing them to cover their ears. Up to 20 miles, 32 kilometers, the humans hears the sound, but fade away. Instantly, those who heard it and still have their hearing recognizes the sound. After 30 seconds, the hearing of every human returns. What was that? Oh no! Green aura surrounds her body. The telekinetic empress springs up into the air. She darts her eyes to the sides, but then comes to a stop. She spots Godzilla III standing in a container yard out in the open. Oh, you are kidding me! She dashes forward. She stops 5 yards from his face. She lifts her arms to use sign language. What the hell are you doing here? And how did you not get detected? He responds with his sign language. I need your assistance. What the? You came all this way here just to ask for my help? He nods his head. Oh my god. Mickey suddenly gets a notification on her phone. She pulls out her phone to see what it is. It is a text message from Shindo. If you don't get that kaiju away from Tokyo, I'm sending in the mech. She sighs, then turns her attention to Raygon. All right, I'll help you. What do you need? He responds. Mickey becomes shocked. You want to learn telepathy? April 5th. On the island of Mikurajima, Mickey teaches Godzilla the ways of using telepathy. When they started, it was awkward, but she noticed that he is getting better with his telepathic speeches. He may not know how to speak it, but at least he'll have better communication, even though the AMF's going to get chewed for this. Offshore, the battle carriers have their 16-inch and 20-inch railguns pointing starboard just in case he decides to head off unexpectedly again. May 8th, 2015, Moscow, Russia. A crowd watches on. Flags of countries, once part of the USSR or the Soviet Union, flutters in the wind while the soldiers representing those countries marches down Red Square. Ukraine, Belarus, the Free Kazakh Republic, held in West Kazakhstan, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Moldova, and the Free Turkmen, Uzbek, the Tajik, and Kyrgyz republics. Foreign visitors marches down the square waving their flags with their brothers and sisters in arms. The United States, United Kingdom, France, India, Vietnam, and China. Russia, as well as all of Europe, celebrate VE Day, the victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. But it is also a showcase to the world's current enemies that it is united and will not back down. The Russian armed forces and tank formations marches down Red Square, introducing the new T-14 Armada, a modern yet flawed tank from the motherland. The parade also showcased less nuclear missiles than before. But the highlight of the parade is shown once all of the infantry and vehicles are presented. A 100-meter mech appears over the skies of the Russian capital. The speaker explains that the forces have been developing this weapon for years, and now it is brought into the sunlight. It is the Russian TM-1 battle mech, Zosia, named after the goddess of battle. The reveal shocks the world, including the enemies watching from abroad. On the same day, France, Germany, Norway, Poland, India, and Brazil announced their mech building program. A fear that Noda worried about, it is coming true. What have we brought upon this world, he muttered to himself. China did not announce anything. Yet. September 3rd, 2015. In Beijing, the Chinese produces its first parade, celebrating the victory over Imperial Japan in 1945, what they call the People's War of Resistance. As the infantry past Tiananmen Square on Shenzhen Street, the secret project is revealed. 10 single-man operated mechs, only 20 feet, 6 meters in height, marches down the road. The Yinglang class. The lead machine, Yazi, throws a swift punch and spinning kick before continuing its march. It is the first time that smaller-scale mechs are revealed to the public, but reactions from the Mongolians are silent. 1 year later, June 6, 2016. 1 year later, June 6, 2016. On the 50th anniversary of Mongolian independence, the 80-meter-tall mech Erlich Khan waves at the crowd of onlookers. Now, the world reacts in shock and horror, because questions are bound to be asked. How did the Mongolians get their hands on Element 223 and Niborium? Who was the one that told the Mongolians how to build their own mech? Neither China, Japan, nor the United States can figure it out. The normal everyday person would look at this thinking that an arms race will soon follow. Little did they know, it had begun 3 years prior. A summit is held on October 12, 2016 within the UN headquarters in New York City. The Mongolian and Mobian foreign ministers are in attendance. The Security Council demanded to know how they managed to build mechs in short periods of time. Barachi responded by stating that they discovered it by themselves, a statement that most do not believe. The Mobian foreign minister, Hartman, states that Robotnik discovered the use and necessity of Niborium and Element 223, and while they have not confirmed a mech program of their own, they have provided the idea to the Mongolian kingdom, a revelation that is starting to make sense. Red Mongolia was banned from receiving Element 223 and Niborium, but Mobius was not, which provided the former the needs of creating these new weapons. Every member in the UN has had enough. Something needs to be done. October 21st. The foreign ministers are summoned once more to sign a treaty to limit the number, size, and capacity of a country's mech program. Both Mongol and Mobian ministers call out the hypocrisy of the UN. They accuse them of allowing Japan, Russia, and China to create theirs and hold all of the Niborium to themselves. They argued that, in Mongolia's case, they were denied the necessity of human survival for 30 years ever since China denied giving Inner Mongolia to the kingdom. The Mongolian ambassador, Gur, agrees, stating that the kingdom will no longer deal with the hypocrisy and uselessness of the United Nations. Suddenly, he and the foreign ministers stands up and walks out of the chamber, refusing to sign the treaty. A worst-case scenario that none are prepared for. From this action, the intentions of the Republic of Mobius and the Empire of Red Mongolia are now crystal clear, a scenario not seen since the late 1930s. Unknowingly, however, an escalator clause is activated. In Article 12, Section 4, it states the following. No country shall build a mech exceeding the height of 100 meters, 328 feet, and a displacement of 50,000 tons. And no country shall build a battle carrier with an armament larger than the caliber of 16 to 20 inches, provided, however, that if any of the parties who signed the 1996 Gun Bunker Act and the Energy Act of 2012 failed to sign no later than October 21, 2016, the restrictions will be removed. The world goes into a massive arms buildup on October 31, 2016, on the pretext of domestic and foreign protection against the imperial axis. November 6, 2016. Within the American election campaign, the final results are in. Former Supreme General of the USAMF, Alexander Jackson Roosevelt, is elected as the next President of the United States, with Henry Cooper promoted to Supreme General of the USAMF. January 20th, 2017. The new president addresses the nation in its inauguration into office. In attendance, King Bowser, standing on the forward bow of his flagship King Henry the Great, watches on.
Now, let me address the American people, as well as our friends in Zootopia, that includes His Majesty in attendance today. During the times of the American Civil War, we faced against those who think owning another human being is the way of life when it was the complete opposite. We faced off against an empire that thought it was a good idea to resume unrestricted submarine warfare and tried to convince a country south of this hemisphere to invade us so that we wouldn't be able to join the war in the trenches. We faced a country who is owning up to the atrocities in East Asia, launched a surprise attack in order to grab resources. We stood toe-to-toe against a former superpower that we, collectively as one, had to push back so that the idea of communism wouldn't affect our way of life. We had to endure an intergalactic monster that threatened human existence. We faced terrorists that decided to attack our national soil and throw us in a never-ending war. And finally, we faced an intergalactic invasion from a people whose true intentions were known after the fact. While we had to go through it all, we were able to support our allies and even our partners who were once our political enemies. And that is the key word: enemies. For the third time in our history, we are dealing with the possibility of war in the Far East, in Europe, and possibly in this hemisphere. For the third time, we are dealing with another arms race, not of nuclear, but with mechs and navies. We must do everything in our power as a species, both human and Koopa, to prevent war by any means necessary. But I am afraid that diplomacy has not been successful recently. But even so, we shall not let the darkness consume us like it had in the late 1930s. As FDR once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We will triumph against the oncoming rise of terror, fear, death, suppression, self-righteousness, and jingoism. These so-called Julianism and bambooism are a proven fact to be a threat to our way of life. We must not fall into the trap of appeasement. They will see the weaknesses in our system, society, and governments. We must not be able to ask what we can do to our enemies. We cannot ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We will stand by and not fall to the tyrants of the New World. We will achieve our victory, whether through peace or by force if they ask for it. And trust me, they will get what's coming to them.
Every leader of each country praised Roosevelt in his speech. His words sent shockwaves through the imperial axis, finding it as a threat to their ambitions, something that the others did not count on. From 2017 to 2019, no major event has occurred, but global tension has slowly continued to rise. In May of 2019, reports comes in to the Chinese Ministry of State Security. Small numbers of Mongolian Red Army units are massing near the Sino-Mongol border from east to west. The People's Liberation Army is on full alert. In the Middle East, the Arab nations, including Israel, are in standby status. All throughout Asia, Europe, Africa, and South America, the countries slowly mobilizes their armed forces. The United States sets its defense readiness to DEFCON 2, fast pace. June 12, 2019. A writer of the New York Times begins his article with a quote that states the following: "The only reason that so much of the world's hard-earned wealth is poured down an uneconomic rat hole is that men expect and fear the coming of a second world war. That expectation and fear is the greatest political force in the world today. Horror of the war itself makes mankind recoil towards peace, but the probable nature of the war drives men to prepare for it." That was a paragraph from the June 12, 1939 issue of Time magazine under a section titled Europe, War Machines. And now, that statement rings true with our modern society. The only reason why so much of our well-earned wealth from the Millennium Renaissance is now being poured down the toilet is that men and women fear the coming of a third world war. World War II was evident that war is nothing but horror, the kind of horror that nobody wants to repeat or experience again. We have a new generation that has never experienced war, the terror and unexpected nature of it. And when it comes, they will understand why we don't want it to begin with. And because of the nature of our current society, the war will be a test to see if we can survive that horror or fall into extinction because of the ambitions of our so-called glorious leaders. To all ages, when war comes, prepare for the worst thing to come to humanity in 80 years.